In this video, I will discuss about the code deployment and code commit and code pipeline in AWS. So let us try to understand this through diagram. So I have the diagram over here. We have a local computer where the files are stored. So using the get commands, we are going to push it into the repository of AWS. So here the code commit allows us to create the repository and connect the repository with the local computer. And we have a code deployment, and we will deploy the code through Ec2 Instance. And in between we have a code pipeline that is used for coordinating between code commit and code deployment, where the changes in the source will be reflected in the code deployment here. So that is nothing but the Ec2 instance. So let us try to do this in AWS. So I am in the AWS console. So what I am doing to do is nothing but I have to create the user here. So I will type I am and I will try to open this. So first is like creating the user. So we have to create the user here because we need a permission for code deployment and code commit both. So already the user is there, so I am not creating any user. I will make use of the same thing. So here he is having administrative access, therefore I am not adding any policies here. If he is not having administrative access, then we need to attach the policy here. So what are the policy that we have to attach? So we need to go and add permission here, attach the existing policy. So here I will type code commit. So AWS code commit full access. This is one policy that we need to add. And one more policy is nothing but code deployment, code deploy. So here AWS code deploy full access. So this is the two important policies that we need to add. Suppose he's not an admin. So I will cancel this. Since I am admin, I am not adding any policies. So after this I will try to create the roles. So we need two different roles. One is for the code deployment and one more is for the Ec2 instance. Since I am deploying on the Ec2 instance, so therefore I am creating the Ec2 role. So first one is like creating the role for the code deployment. So here I will try to select lambda here, and the use case is nothing but the code deployment. Code deployment, and select the code deployment. Select next. So automatically the policy is attached, so I am not attaching anything here. So add now and give the role name. So I will say my code deploy role. Okay. So create the role. So it is taking some time to create the role. Just wait for some time. So after this we'll try to create one more role. Create the role, and here it is for the Ec2 instance. So I will choose Ec2 instance here and select next, and now here it is. We need to add S3 read only. So Amazon S3, so attach this policy, Amazon S3 read only. So this policy has to be attached for the Ec2 role. So here the role name is my Ec2 role, and so create the role here. So it is creating the role. It will take some time. So the my Ec2 role is created. After this we will go for the code commit. So I will type. Before that, one more thing we need to do. In the user we have click on the user. So generate the security credentials. So suppose say if you are using HTTPS to connect with your code repository, connect the local computer with the code repository, we need some credentials. So here we need HTTPS credentials to connect your local computer with the AWS code repository. So I will try to generate these credentials. So here this is the username. I will just copy this and will open the notepad. I will copy this. Here I am connecting using HTTPS, therefore I am making use of this username and password. Close this. So I will type now code commit. So we create the repository. I will open this. So create the repository here. So give whatever name you want. I will give my repo. Can give any description you want. Create it. So this is empty now. It is not having any anything inside here. So we have three important means. One is like HTTPS, SSH, and HTTPS through the GitHub repository. So we'll make first one. We'll make use of the first one here. So before that we need to clone this HTTPS and so go to the CMD. So I'll change it to the desktop. Now what I will do is I will try to clone this git clone and the URL name. So it is asking for username. So I have already stored my username and password over here. So enter this username and enter the password. So now in the desktop you can see that there is an empty directory that is created over here. My repo. So it is empty. What I will do is I will copy some sample HTML code into the directory. So I just copy and paste it in this particular directory here. So after doing this we need to add these files gt minus add minus a. So to change this to the directory my repo. So now I will add. So after adding what I have to do is I have to commit minus m uploaded the files. So I have committed that and I will push this into the repository. So again it is asking for username and password. I will try to provide this. So you can see that the particular files has been written into this repository. So these are the files that have been written. So what I will do is I will host the Ec2 instance here. Launch the instance. Select the Amazon machine. Select the instance type. Next, configure the instance details. So in this particular case I will try to give the IAM role. So that is nothing but my Ec2 role. And next going to add the storage. Keep it as defaults. The name tag. So here I will say name my Ec2 instance. Next, configure the security group. This is SSH, and here I will say HTTP and review and launch. So I will try to launch this. So here it is public key, and if you don't have a key, you can create your own keys. So it goes to the running state. I will copy this IP address and use the putty over here and paste it over, and I will go to SSH and authentication, browse the key. I will open this, accept this Ec2 instance, login as Ec2 user, and what I am going to do is I'll try to install a code deploy agent here. So this is the code to install the code deploy agent. So first you have to update the machine. So I'll update now. The second is like install the Ruby. The third is like installing the wget. So install the wget and change the directory here. And use wget command to download the latest version of the code agent. So we downloaded, and I'll use some permission for this file. After this I will try to install this. So let us check whether it is running or not. Copy and paste it over here. So this is AWS code deployment agent is running at the PID of 3506. So after doing this, I will try to go for code deployment. Okay, so type code deploy and open this. So create the application here. So here I will say like my code deploy, choose the platform, is it Ec2 instance, and create the deployment group, enter the deployment group name, my deployment group, service role, attach the service role and keep it as in place. Here I will choose Amazon Ec2 instance. So the name you give it as, the value is the tags that I have given, and keep everything as a default. So there is no any load balancer. I will disable this and create the deployment group. So the deployment group is created. Now what is left is like code pipelining. So in the code pipelining, I try to create the pipeline and give some name, my code pipeline. Go for next. go for next, and source provider. So here it is, source provider is AWS code commit, repository name my repo, and the branch name is master. So everything I'll keep it as the defaults. Build, skip the build stage, I am not building anything. So deployment is nothing but AWS code deploy here. So the name of the deployment application name is my code deploy, and group is my code deployment group. Choose next. So create the pipeline. So the pipeline is successfully created. Let us wait for the successful connection, for successful deployment. So the first stage is completed, it is successfully. Deployment is also succeeded. So what I will do is I will just copy this IP address and see whether the code deployment is successful or not. So here this HTML file is getting deployed. So this is what I have discussed in this video. If you like this video, subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching this video.